Hello and welcome to my June 10th video update. Trying something a little different. I'm out here in our converted garage and trying out setting up my mobile video storytelling kit, which is really nothing any different than I've usually done for these video updates. That is to say, it's my iPhone 7 Plus in the now Movo instead of the shoulder pod, with the video microphone attached to the top and into the iPhone 7, and that's all on top of the larger Joby Gorilla Pod I have for DSLRs. So let's start off on a positive side. This last week has been great. I've got 2 episodes of photography and technology tools recorded. The first one was on the Video Micro, actually, the microphone. I posted that on Monday on YouTube. And the other one was on assembling the pieces for a totally mobile video storytelling kit, or MVS. So that will go up next Monday, and it has really spawned some additional thoughts. So I'm being successful in sticking to my production schedule, at least for photography and technology tools. Not so good, however, with my learning photography series. So that may end up being a every other week or once a month posting of an episode. And they'll form a package when they're all done, same package that I give when I'm doing one-on-one tutoring with people, really. I'm excited to come up with this kit of equipment, essential equipment for mobile video storytelling. Doing that one episode, I had like 20 minutes of recorded video that I could use, and I limited it to 12. I cut out a couple things that I'll use in a future video. And it also spawned some other ideas of how, because the bag I used in that episode just wasn't big enough to accommodate a couple other things that I really would always want to be in my kit, including this larger Gorilla Pod, because it brings the phone up a little higher. It's still not high enough, but it does bring up the phone some, better than the little one I was using. So I'll do another episode on my new bag. I already had one bag. This is a small bag, a Tenba Duo cable bag that you can see through. I found another bag that I have, so the next episode will be on how I've changed things over to that bag and what additional things I can store in it. And then that gave me yet another idea, and so the ideas keep coming. So it's spawned maybe 2 or 3 more episodes that have to do with MVS that I wasn't planning on. So that's all good. I just pushed the things that I was planning, as I told you when I was talking about production. The things I did have planned to record and release, I just pushed those ahead a little bit more into the summer. The negative side has to do with an event I shot last weekend. It's an annual event that I've shot many times before, so I kind of knew what the layout was going to be as far as what people were going to do and so on. It's sort of meet and greet and a cocktail party, and then some presentations, and then dinner. And so what I wanted to do as an experiment was to do some video recording of the presentations. So these events are always held in someone's home, and fortunately the weather was incredibly wonderful last Saturday, and so people were inside and outside. It's a very large house, big backyard, beautiful views, and that made it a little bit more difficult for me for taking my still shots when I was inside and outside, and lighting was different in both places. But that aside, I took my MePhoto road trip tripod and set up my Yi action camera on it, or on the MePhoto Backpacker Air, and had it set so it would just sort of capture the group and let it run. It's a wide angle lens, and so and then the other tripod I used for my iPhone, kind of the same setup I have here, the Movo with the Video Micro, and all ready to go, all plugged in. And I found out where they were going to have the presentations, and so I had my tripods easily accessible but out of the way, and I could put them in place. And then all of a sudden I looked around at one point, and they were getting ready to start the presentations, and I hushed and got my tripods, but they'd moved where they were going to do the presentation, so that kind of got me a little rattled. But I got everything set up so it would capture people's presentations. And then the presentations went from outside to inside, so I moved the iPhone, but not the action camera. Long story short, when it was all over, I checked the audio, no audio. And so what had happened, I really am not sure, because I'd used exact same setup, the one I'm using right now, to record myself earlier last Saturday, and it worked fine. So this was quite a bit disappointing, and I learned, be careful, and never assume that the audio is working. Always check it right before you start recording, and that'll save your bacon. And it didn't save my bacon this time. The only good news was that I was able to, the good news was that I had not promised a video to them. I asked them if I could do this experiment, so they weren't expecting a video. And then a little bit of good news is there was enough footage with some audio from the action camera that I was able to use that and merge it with some of the other video from the iPhone that had no audio. This has to do with the releasing of butterflies, and so I had the action camera I had the iPhone capturing video of that. So I just put some music in, and they have a video of a little bit of their presentation and people waving their hands, and then the release of the butterflies. So it wasn't a total washout, but had I been being paid for this event, it would have been extremely embarrassing. So it's a good lesson to keep in mind that you always want to check your equipment, make sure it's working on location, not just assume it's going to work as it did someplace else. Okay, so I'm going to keep on. I'm pretty much finished with, except for some weeding, I'm pretty much finished with the beginning of summer commitments, and I'm hoping I can, and it's great to be able to be outside. And it won't be long until we'll be unbearable to come outside, because here in Lynchburg, Virginia, and Central Virginia on the east coast of the United States, it gets very humid as June moves on and we move into July. So when the grass starts dying, and it's just not comfortable to be outside. So I want to take advantage of it while I can and record as many episodes of my series outside as I can, because they're, I think, a little bit more fun than being in the studio. So thank you very much for dropping by, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week on Video Updates. Goodbye.